Sometimes the food we think are rich in iron are not usually rich in iron. I've had situations where people say that plantain contains iron, plantain is a good source of iron, which is actually false. Plantain is majorly a carbohydrate food source. It contains very little iron, which the body cannot even absorb readily because it's a non-heme iron. Welcome to Nutrition with NOP. In today's video, I'll be discussing how to improve iron absorption in your body. What do you do to ensure that all the iron-rich foods you consume, you are able to get the iron in them? Iron is an essential mineral that the body uses to produce hemoglobin. And hemoglobin is the iron-containing protein that carries oxygen in the red blood cells. The hemoglobin is basically heme and globin, that is iron and the protein part. Heme is the iron part, globin is the protein part. There are two types of iron. We have the heme iron and we have the non-heme iron. Bioavailability of iron is usually low, especially the non-heme iron. What do I mean by this? It's not all the iron that is consumed in our food that is being absorbed in our body. Sometimes after consuming iron-rich foods, your body doesn't absorb all of them. And when your body is not getting enough iron over a long period of time, this could lead to what is known as iron deficiency anemia. Okay? Talking about iron deficiency anemia, that is when you go for tests and you find out that your blood level is low or your PCV is low. Okay? You now say, okay, I don't have enough blood in my body. This brings us to symptoms of anemia. What are those things? What are those symptoms that I can see or I can feel or I'll be experiencing that will make me realize that I'm anemic, or that will make me realize that the iron in my body has reduced or my blood is low? You might be feeling dizzy, weakness, fatigue, headache, paleness. You can check paleness by just checking the eyelid. You open your eyes, okay, you check inside. If it is yellowish or whitish, that's how you know if the person is pale. Okay, these are some of the symptoms of anemia. Then, what are the causes? What causes anemia? What causes this iron deficiency? What are the causes of iron deficiency? Number one, we have low intake of iron. Okay, low intake of iron. Then number two, we have poor absorption of iron. Poor absorption of iron, especially from our food. Then number three, we have malaria. And sometimes hookworm. Yeah, malaria. Let me start with malaria. Malaria is very common, especially here in Africa, Nigeria to be precise. Malaria is a common illness here. Okay, this can lead to anemia. When you've had malaria in your body over a long period of time, you can become anemic. But I'll be focusing on the diet-related ones, which are poor absorption of iron and low intake of iron-rich foods. Okay. Let me start with low intake of iron-rich foods. One, it means that you're not taking enough iron-containing foods. You're not taking enough iron-containing foods. What do I mean by this? Sometimes the food we think are rich in iron are not usually rich in iron. I've had situations where people say that plantain contains iron, plantain is a good source of iron, which is actually false. Plantain is majorly a carbohydrate food source. It contains very little iron, which the body cannot even absorb readily because it's a non-heme iron. Okay? When people consume plantain, they will tell you, oh, I want to eat plantain because I want to have iron. People tell you, oh, beans contains iron. Yes, beans contains iron, but it is not readily available in the body. It is not easily absorbed in the body without vitamin C rich foods. That brings us to poor absorption of iron. Poor absorption of iron, which is another major cause of iron deficiency anemia. What causes this? Remember I said earlier that we have two major types of iron. We have two types of iron. We have the heme and the non-heme iron. The heme iron are usually the iron gotten from animal sources. These are heme iron. Any kind of iron that your body gets through animal food source is heme iron, and the one your body gets through plant food sources are the non-heme iron. And these non-heme iron are not bioavailable. They are not readily absorbable in the body. So for your body to be able to get this non-heme iron, you need to accompany those food with vitamin C rich foods. Vitamin C rich food sources such as oranges, lemon, tangerine, pineapple, bell peppers, and so on. Okay, you can eat them alongside the meal. You can freshly prepared orange juice or pineapple juice and take it along with your iron rich plant food. Okay, your iron rich plant food, you can take it along with your vitamin C rich food. That is the only way you'll be able to easily absorb this iron. So remember, I've mentioned 3 causes of iron deficiency. I said 1 is poor intake of iron rich foods, 2 is low absorption of iron, and 3 is malaria. Okay, that brings us to, how do I prevent this iron deficiency? What do I do to make sure I don't have iron deficiency? There are some things you can do to help you to be able to absorb iron in your body well. 1, incorporate vitamin C rich foods in your diet. Take more of vitamin C rich foods along with your iron rich foods, especially the plant iron sources. Remember I said earlier that non-heme iron, which are the plant iron sources, cannot be easily absorbed in the body without in the absence of vitamin C, because they have a synergistic relationship. Iron and vitamin C, that's non-heme iron and vitamin C, have a synergistic relationship. So for you to be able to absorb it in your body, for you to be able to get it from your food, you have to eat these 2 together. That's the only way you'll be able to readily absorb the iron from plant sources. Number 2, reduce phytate or phytic acid from your cereals and legumes. Cereals and legumes usually have what to call phytate or phytic acid, which act as inhibitors to iron. They act as inhibitors, like they prevent your body from absorbing the iron in your foods. Now, this is aside from the relationship between vitamin C and iron. Also, the phytates in the cereals and legumes binds the iron. Okay, so how do you do this? How do you achieve this? How do you free the iron? 1, you can do that through cooking, soaking, and germinating. Okay, make sure they go through these processes, which will help to remove this inhibitor, this phytate, from the food. I see people saying, oh, I prepared soybean. How did you prepare it? So I will just say, oh, I just fried it and then grind it. No. So it has to go through this process of cooking, soaking. Sometimes if the food requires germinating, this is to remove inhibitors that will prevent you from absorbing the iron in your food. Number 3, try not to take your tea or coffee alongside your iron-rich foods. This is because they contain what we call polyphenols, which are also inhibitors. Okay, they inhibit the absorption of iron, especially the non-heme iron. Okay, so try not to take your coffee alongside your iron rich foods. You can take your tea or coffee like an hour or 2 after or before meal. And to the last one, iron supplements. You can take iron supplements. This is in a severe case of anemia. Okay, if you don't have severe anemia, you can get your iron sources from your diet. This brings us to sources of iron. I'll be mentioning some top rich iron food sources. Okay, number 1 is liver. Yes, liver is a rich source of iron. Liver and other organ mates like kidney, heart, brain, they are also good sources of iron. Then we have meat, especially red meat or dark meat. Red meat is rich in iron. Okay, then we have fish, all kinds of fish, including crayfish and shellfishes like oyster, clams, mussels. They are all rich iron sources. Then moving down to the plant sources, we have green leafy vegetables. Yes, green leafy vegetables are rich sources of iron. Yes, but the thing is, remember, they are non-heme iron, so they require you to eat them with vitamin C rich foods. Okay, vitamin C rich foods like oranges, tangerine, pineapple, lemon, bell peppers, and so on, to be able to get the iron in them. Okay, other green leafy vegetables will have things like fluted pumpkin leaves, which here in Nigeria we call it ugu. We have spinach, which we call green spinach, which we call green. We have our collard greens, okay, scent leaf, water leaves, okay. Green leafy vegetables generally are rich sources of iron, but remember, all plant iron must be eaten with vitamin C rich food in order to get the iron in them. We also have beans, such as red kidney beans, soybeans, different types of beans, green beans. We have these are few akidi. They are all rich sources of iron, but remember, they should be eaten with vitamin C rich food sources. Sesame seed is another one. Tofu, beetroot is another good source of iron. Then generally, meal diversification, diet diversification. What do I mean by diet diversification? It simply means eating food from different food sources. You take from plant source, you take from animal source, you take vegetable, you eat legumes, you eat cereals, you eat all this together, making a balanced meal. It will help you ensure that you get the adequate amount of iron needed for you to function properly. Meal diversification is very important to ensure you get all the nutrients in their right proportion that your body needs to function adequately. And please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like this video, and comment. If you have any question, just leave it in the comment section below. Thank you. See you in my next one.